This video is for educational purposes only. Be sure to do your own research.
You see, guys, the communists have taken over our country. I'm sorry to say, but for those of you who know, you know. For those of you who don't know, you know. It is what it is. So, back when the communists took over the Soviet Union, they had what was called the Holodomor, and they starved over 100 million people to death. That's right, 100 million in Russia. So, that's what they're planning on doing here in the United States as well, with the collectivization of food and everything like that. So if you want to be ready for any kind of a food emergency, got a few leaves that you can eat, a few different things that you might want to look out for, you might want to keep on your property, plants for you, okay? The best wild edible leaf, in my opinion, is the violet leaf. Now, violet leaves have a natural hemorrhoid medication in them, and they have more iron than spinach, and they are really good raw. They are. They have a nice, I know she's sad I didn't feed it to her. I know, I'm sorry, baby girl. Now, your elderberry might look good with little purple berries on it. Don't eat them. Don't eat the leaves, don't eat the stems, don't eat any of it. It will kill you. Oh, so what's this tree up here? These green baseballs that we're hitting all day, what are they? That's right, they're black walnuts, right? So that green oil in there is an anti-parasitic. You can eat the walnuts. They're a little hard to harvest. You have to chop them. The ones on the ground are prone to having maggots and worms inside of them, but if you knock one out of the tree, you can usually chop it in half and just pull the walnut. Those are the fresher ones, right? Black walnuts. Good stuff. This is the muscadine vine. You recognize the grape leaves probably from when you've eaten at a Greek food fair or food festival. Don't be afraid to eat a little grape leaf if you need to. It's not bad. It's really not. Pretty good, huh, baby girl? Tastes like lettuce, right? Me in these woods is a crepe myrtle tree. You can't really see it that well, but crepe myrtle trees, you know, they grow all over the place. People plant them for decoration. They are everywhere. They are completely edible, totally edible. They don't taste great, but if you need something to eat, something to eat. Does this smell amazing or what? That's called a beefsteak plant. It's been grown in Korea forever because it's edible. You should look up a real picture of it. That way you can identify it when you're in the wild, but it is completely edible. It's in the mint family, so just like mint, you can eat it, right? Now, this guy right here, you see this everywhere, that red stalk and those leaves and that with those berries, those purple berries on it, right? That's poke. You've probably heard of poke salad, right? You have to cook poke like crazy to cook the poison out of it, right? And you don't want to eat the berries or anything like that. It's just the leaves that you eat. But what you probably don't know about poke is that if you dig up that root and you make a tincture out of the root or you make some tea out of the root, it helps with nerves and things like that. It's got a lot of benefits, so go ahead and look that up too. Greenbrier is thorny. It is 12% protein, like I mentioned before. Will grow like crazy. Dig up the root. It's a big giant root ball, almost like a potato. Crumble it up, put it in water, and all the starch that's in it, it's heavy in starch, will go to the bottom. You can get all the fiber off the top. You can bake with it. Purslane is 100% edible. Is high in omega-3 fatty acids. Kudzu. I don't have any growing on the property, but you know what kudzu looks like? The flowers, the leaves, the stems, the roots, the entire thing's edible. That's why they brought it over here. They were hoping that cows and like livestock would eat it because it grows so crazy. And now it's growing crazy and the livestock don't eat it. But people can eat it and people do eat it. They've been eating it in Asia for a long time. So definitely check out kudzu in any kind of emergency situation. So the last emergency food you're going to want to keep around is your pine trees, right? Now, pine tree, you're not going to eat the bark, you're not going to eat the needles, but what you'll do with the needles is you're going to make a tea out of them. It's very high in vitamins and other minerals, including vitamin C, which is really crucial for your immune system. And then when you peel off the bark, right, you'll probably want to use a tool, but you can use it with your hands. But you peel off this first layer of bark, and then you're going to see between this bark and the wood, there's going to be a thin yellow membrane. That's what actually carries the water and stuff up the tree for the most part. But it's the outer layer, and it's called cadmium, and that's going to be another emergency food. You can eat it fresh or you can dry it out. Now,
be sure, when you harvest your cadmium, you really don't need to dry it out. You can just, harvest it whenever you need it. But do not go around the tree this way. Go up and down the tree that way. That way the veins of the tree and the water source of the tree keep the tree alive. And, it's a pine tree, so there's probably a million of them around. You could do a small patch on one, a small patch on another, and that's why a country boy can survive, because you can't starve us out and you can't make us run, because we them old boys raised on shotgun. We say grace and we say ma'am, and if you ain't into that, we don't give a damn.